My name is Evyn Selden, and I'm doing a program evaluation of the nonprofit organization, the Global Sisterhood, Inc. So a little bit of background about the Global Sisterhood is they're a nonprofit organization that's brand new. They just started this January. And it was started by Dr. Shelly Hipsky, who is with us here today. She's the founder of the organization. And the mission is to educate, provide resources, and network for women and girls internationally to allow them to make their goals and dreams a reality. And they do this through a social media platform and through networking globally. So diving right into the literature, measuring the success of a nonprofit is rather tricky. The rate of success being counted is not normally counted in dollars, but is determined by commitment and contribution to a better world. And by taking the time to develop this vision or mission, they can become more successful through concrete goals and strengthen their mission in general. And so even though they're not, even though the financial success is not necessarily important, it's still, a relationship still exists because you need to have financial funds coming in order to pursue your mission. And the second part of my literature review is about networking, because the Global Sisterhood is all about networking. And so here's some key facts just from networking in general. And so the Global Sisterhood has to be able to provide opportunities for brainstorming and access to resources, and then provide role models, generate solutions to problems, and disseminate information. And also in the literature, it said women actually tend to create better relationships that last long term and are more social than men. And the last thing is networks need to be diverse, but also have like-mindedness in order to agree upon things and pursue growth. So the purpose of my study of evaluating the Global Sisterhood is because it is a brand new nonprofit. So right now they're trying to create their foundation of their mission statement, their board members, and pursuing a common goal. So I wanted to evaluate their mission statement in order to provide information on how to be the most successful and achieve the most growth. So I had two important methods. One was a survey, and this was done in two different formats. One was online, and then one was in hard copy. So the first one was done at the Global Sisterhood Mastermind, which was held here in Pittsburgh about 2 months ago, and 39 people filled that out. And then the second format was through Question Pro, which is a software program, and that was filled out by 13 people, and it was the same exact survey, so it has the same results. And the purpose was to receive the demographics, the needs, and the possible contributions of the members of the Global Sisterhood. And then the second was an interview with Dr. Hipsky to see where her mind was and how she wanted the Global Sisterhood to grow throughout the years. So this is a pretty good indicator of the diversity within the Global Sisterhood. So you can see there are 5 different countries represented. So the Global Sisterhood is already expanding internationally, and 9 U.S. states were represented. And then this graph down here shows the age range of the Global Sisters. So it's actually pretty high in between the 60 to 35. There was a lot of participants, so it just shows the diversity of the members. And then also I asked their employment right now, and so there were 65 people that are self-employed, 19% were employed by a nonprofit, and there was actually 21% employed by for-profit. So it shows diversity in the members and what their employment status is. So the next thing I asked is how the Global Sisters learned about the Global Sisterhood. And I did this by checking boxes, and they were allowed to check multiple boxes. So some of the people learned through multiple different means. And you can see that 30 to 25% learned through being interviewed for the Common Threads books, which is published and written by Dr. Hipsky, social media, professional networking, and personal networking. But the best part about this is that 26.9% actually heard about the Global Sisterhood through Dr. Shelly Hipsky. And this was a write-in category that just said check other and write it in. And so 26% of people actually wrote in that they had heard about this through Dr. Hipsky. So the next thing I asked was areas of focus that the Global Sisters wanted to, or that the sisters wanted to see in the Global Sisterhood. And the support through inspiration, encouragement, and balance completely dominated. So they were required to rank these 1 through 7, and what's shown is the percentage of people that said each category was number 1. So the number 1 category was 47, or was support, and it was with 47.8% of people. So the next thing I asked was, there were 21 different specific areas of focus, and what's really interesting about this is that the most important areas of focus the girls wanted to see is intangible things versus tangible things, like hosting webinars, retreats, and social events. So the most important ones that they saw was providing encouragement, inspiration, and sharing stories of personal success, which those things really can't be measured on a scale, but hosting a webinar is an actual tangible thing. The next thing I asked is how well the Global Sisters agreed with these statements. And the biggest statement that had the most impact was, I have made friendships through the Global Sisterhood. And so even though these numbers seem a little bit low, these are actually the numbers that they were asked on a scale from strongly agree, strongly disagree, and disagree. And 100% of the Global Sisters agreed that at least moderately agreed that all of these statements were true. But this percentage shows the strongly agreed. And so 70.6% agreed that they had made lasting friendships. And the mean shows that the Global Sisterhood is doing what it has set out to do. So then I had some open-ended responses, and these are some themes that came up in the responses. One of the most important one is networking, and this was shown through multiple words like camaraderie of souls, community, connection, and strong partnership. And then encourage and empowerment, like lift you up, uplift, support, and empower. And the next open response was, what directions would you like to see the Global Sisterhood go in the next 1 to 5 years? And so constantly the Global Sisters were talking about global expansion, and you can see that with these two themes of grow, increase, around the world, thrive in all continents. This was a constant theme throughout these responses. So the key findings from all of my data analysis is that 26.9% found out about the Global Sisterhood directly through Dr. Hipsky. This doesn't just show her networking abilities, but just networking in general is extremely important for this organization. And then 47.8% believe support through inspiration, encouragement, balance, and empowerment should be the number 1 focus of the organization. And the intangibles are more important than the tangibles, as I showed you with those percentages. And then 70.6% strongly agree that they have made friendships, not just connections. And I believe that these friendships are lifetime friendships, not just friendships in networking business relations, but actually social friendships where you support and love each other. And then lastly, they do want to expand and grow globally. So the connections back to the literature is that balance between mission and finance does exist, and it is a tricky battle. So the Global Sisters really want to push their mission right now, but their finances are greatly important. And so hosting those fundraisers and hosting those events in order to provide fundraising for empowering other women is extremely important. And the other thing is that women do tend to create more personal relationships than men. And that networks can provide endless access to resources, role models, and encouragement because of those personal relationships that they created, but also the business relationships they created. And diversity, but like-mindedness among networks is important for success. So we saw the diversity in age, gender, and their employment status. So my official recommendations for the Global Sisterhood in order to grow and succeed exponentially over the years is that they do need to set achievable, concrete financial goals and be able to seek balance between their mission statement and their finances. And then their focus needs to be to grow globally. And this isn't just Dr. Hipsky networking, but also the other sisters networking in their businesses and their personal lives so that they can continue to grow this exponentially. Also, they need to continue to inspire and empower and inform others through multiple methods, so not just social media, but by hosting events and by print releases. So they do have a magazine that they're hoping to continue to print. And lastly, I do suggest that they consider having an option for men to be able to support the Global Sisterhood. So it does provide more diversity and so that they're able to have more access to resources. And I do want to thank Dr. Hipsky and Dr. Hansen for, for allowing me to do this evaluation on her nonprofit since it is so new. And there's my references. Any questions? Thanks, guys. Oh.
Can I ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you mentioned the trade-off between terms of achieving the missions as well as getting the financial support. Now, what is the most cost-effective way to achieve the mission? Because you mentioned like social media as well as other things. So what is the cost-efficient way?
I think with this particular nonprofit, social media is humongous. So they have a Facebook group right now that the girls are posting, I would say, there's at least 20 posts a day of just what they're doing in their lives and support and sharing stories and encouragement. And they're not just posting, but other people are commenting and providing likes and just like giving each other encouragement throughout the hard times, but also the good times. So I think social media, because it is free, it's probably the most cost-effective way to reach people globally.